Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, Carnival? Oh man, this is not gonna do any good for your reputation at all. So Carnival Cruise Lines, a little while back, they had that whole poop cruise where the Triumph ended up broken down at sea and everything backed up and it was horrible. They had a hard time getting the passengers back to shore. And it just ruined the reputation of Carnival. And they've done a lot to turn it around. And they are now the Fun Ships 2.0 and all their ships are being redesigned and they want to be known as the family-friendly economy cruise line that has just as good a quality as every other cruise line out there. And then we have a story like this, the Carnival Fantasy, which is based out of Alabama. One of the older cruise ships, granted. But in case you're wondering, every few months, every year minimum, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, goes on board and they do inspections of the cruise ships. So there's cruise ship inspections for safety and things like that, and then there's food cleanliness and basically all overall preparation of the cruise ship itself and its disease control, if you will. And they score it out of 100. They don't let you know they're coming. It's a surprise inspection, so you can't just magically clean up the cruise and everything's good. But a score of 85 or higher is a good score. Anything below that is a failing score and needs to be addressed immediately. 85 even is in the lower echelon of passing, but anything say 90 or high 95, 6 and up is considered extremely clean and very well run. For instance, Disney Cruise Line, 3 of their 4 ships got nearly a perfect score. The Royal Princess, the Regal Princess, both scored extremely high. Lots of cruise ships pride themselves on scoring really high during these inspections, but unfortunately for Carnival, in the recent June and July inspection, the Carnival Fantasy received a score of 77, well below a passing grade. And honestly, some of these things that they said, there were 45 separate instances of breaking cleanliness and the rules and basically can spread diseases on this ship. It just, 45, that's a huge list. Normally there's 1 or 2, maybe 3 to 5, but man, 45, and some of these are even disgust me. Absolutely disgust me because you know I'm a thing for food. So let's save the food one till the end. You're gonna want to hear those ones. But for instance, in the shower hoses, there was brown water coming out of 2 of the hoses. Now get this, not in your cabins, in the medical staff area. The place that you want to, basically with the food preparation, the place you want to have the most cleanliness area, you would think, would be in the medical area of the cruise ship. Instead, the hoses had brown water coming out of them. Immediately the crew said, no, those aren't the hoses we usually use. It's kind of like they're sitting there for a long time. That's why there's brown water out of them. But then when they were pressured and they did say, yeah, the other hose that they use, a couple times a day, it does have brown water too. So, medical staff, brown water in your medical staff area, that is horrible. Also up on the pool deck, they had, it appeared that the water was not going into the skimmer, into the splash area. And there was a notable film on top of the water as well as debris floating in the pool. Now they did have a staff member there with a net skimming the top of the pool, but of course, that's not nearly as effective as the mechanical device and actual filter system they have on pools. And there were people in the pool at this time. It wasn't like they were just cleaning it in clothes. There were actually patrons in the pool. The staff member said, oh no, well, it normally does go through the filter and everything, but it's because of the list right now on the ship. It's not hitting there. And then quickly the inspectors pointed out that the drain on the other side of the pool that isn't the way the ship is listing also isn't draining and also isn't going through the skimmer. So that was no excuse, and basically the crew members at that point had to admit, yes, it's not working properly at all. Now we get to some of the really disturbing and disgusting things. As y'all know, the one thing I don't like is the thought of anything going wrong with my food on a cruise ship. I kind of have a little bit of a food phobia, if you will. I like my food to look clean, and I want to think it's clean in my head, and I have to have that, if anything, appearance of cleanliness. So if I see people touching food or sneezing around food, that's it. I'm gone. I'm out of here. And now I don't know if I'll ever sail on the Carnival Fantasy for that ship's lifetime, just after this report. And here are some of the things that were happening. There was water leaking from one area of the ship onto the fish preparation area, where it's not like it was clean water or that they washed it. There was an actual leak there along that area where they're cleaning the fish food. One of the things I love to eat on cruise ships. So that's disgusting. Then in an area where it was a self-serve for bagels and bread and donuts, where there were 3 huge large bowls of bagels, and there were no less than 15 flies found on the bagels. Some of them were even dead on there. So it wasn't like they had just landed. There were dead flies on the food in the self-serve area. Now they did say the staff noticed it and took them away and threw them out, but come on. Dead flies on your food in the... disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Then we get to an area in the actual kitchen area themselves, and there's a big sign up there, clean cutlery. So cutlery, plates and everything, this is all the clean section. And up there were soiled to heavily soiled items sitting on that same shelf that's supposed to be clean to head out to the buffet area. And the staff member said, well, they look through it to make sure it's clean before they go there. Now, like, come on. When you're going to the buffet area and you ever see the food server serving the plates up in the buffet area, you know he has a big table and he has stacks of plates like this. So if you have soiled plates in the middle of that big stack, he's not seeing it. They're not sorting each individual plate from those stacks. He's grabbing a stack and he's going. And if there's soiled plates in there, it's going to the buffet. So no, that's not what's happening. That's disgusting as well. Have I spoiled your appetite yet? Have I spoiled it? Well, because there's more. There's more. I actually kind of saved some of the best for last. One staff member was seen when all the cutlery comes back from the serving tables and everything. You know, you may go and you may take 5 and 6 things of plates and everything, and you end up not using your spoon because you don't have a coffee, you're not serving anything, or you don't use the butter knife because you have a steak knife. Whatever you don't use, it stays on there, and they bring it back into the kitchen area. Now, instead of just taking all the cutlery and putting it into the washing area to go through the high pressure washers and get washed, a crew member was actually going, this isn't dirty, and setting it aside. This isn't dirty, and setting it aside. Oh, this is just a little bit dirty. Taking a cloth, going like this, and then putting it in the clean to go back to the serving area. Never once went through anything. So this is cutlery that's been sitting out on a table someplace with food debris all around, people talking and maybe sneezing or whatever, and it's okay to go back into your mouth later on. What? How are you sorting utensils coming back from dinner? That's like taking, they're bringing back rolls from people's plates that aren't eaten yet and taking the rolls and putting it back out for somebody else to eat. No, don't do things like that. Don't, anything coming back from the food serving area that's been served needs to be washed, needs to be cleaned. Oh my God, what are you doing? And if this kind of stuff is throughout the kitchen, that means that kitchen is not being run properly. That's the hotel manager, director, and the main chef's fault. That's what's going on in that ship. That's poor officer leading on that cruise ship. Has nothing to do with Carnival Corporation. Carnival Corporation has to rely on these people to do their jobs on the ship, and they're not doing their jobs. Now, Carnival in response has said they've put action plans into place to get all these things fixed, and they are asking for another inspection as soon as possible. Yeah, okay. But how did you let it get to that point? Have you changed the staff on your cruise? Have you instituted a new training system? Dead flies and not properly cleaning your plates when they're coming back, that's not a once in a while thing. That's an epidemic of poor management on your cruise ship. That needs to be fixed. Okay, I can just shout out on this a ton. 7 score out of 100, which is not a pass. It's a very low fail. It's the worst score in that cruise ship's history of scores. That's how bad it is currently being run. Like I said, Carnival, this is not going to do anything good for your reputation. Well, I hope you like this new update, and I hope you're not on the Fantasy anytime soon. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel blogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.